happy people, Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a layout in my, on my new 6x8 vacation album from this summer. We road tripped to Louisiana, so I'm going to be using this summer road trip cut file from Citrus Twist Kits along with some Citrus Twist Kits products for my intro page for this album. So I am currently deleting all the stuff that I don't want. So I right clicked and I released Compound Path, and then I duplicated the file and remade the Compound Path because that one over there is going to be my actual cut file, and this I'm actually going to delete all the excess space and I'm going to leave just the inside of the letters and the mountains and road at the bottom, so that I can fill these in with digital Citrus Twist Kits papers in Silhouette, and that way I can print and cut rather than having to fussy cut or use the cut file as a template for these papers that I already have printed in real life. I love doing this. It saves me so much time. I can rearrange all of the colors before I print them, so I can make sure that I have what I want. So what I'm doing is I'm just dragging and dropping the digital paper files into each one of these little cuts, and it's going to auto-fill that pattern into each of these shapes. Now I can resize and move any of these patterns, which you just saw me do with the mountains, via the fill panel in Silhouette. So I'm just creating a pattern here, dragging and dropping everything, and then I'm going to go ahead and go into the fill dialog. You can see it over there on the right, and I'm going to resize some of the ones that I think need adjusted, and I'm going to increase the size of the orange so that they're all the same. And I just want to make sure that everything looks good and is going to print the right size. Everything looks a little bit bigger on screen than it does in real life, so I'm just making sure it looks extra large. So I keep messing this up. I go through a few different things and then I'm like, oh, okay, I can fix this. So I'm panning the pattern on this sunburst paper so that I don't get these weird awkward cuts with these suns. I also flipped a couple of them horizontally so that they face in different directions, and I'm resizing the pattern size. Now this is just about ready to print. You can see it got a little bit messed up, so I need to fix it one more time because I keep messing it up. I hit Control A when I'm in this dialog box over here, and instead of just selecting the dialog box, it selects all of everything and changes everything, and then it messes me up every time. But we've got it. We're working here. I'm going to move it over once I got everything all settled, and then I'm going to turn on the print and cut function. So that's going to need to be an 8.5 by 11, and it's also going to need the registration marks. So I turn the registration marks on at the smallest settings, and then I change my size to 8.5 by 11, and this is ready to print and cut now.
Okay, so we've got everything print and cut now, and you can see I have the cut file cut out. I'm going to be doing this in a 6x8 album, which is good because this was larger than what I needed for an 8 or for a traveler's notebook size life crafted album. So I didn't check before I printed and cut, and thankfully it is going to work. So I have all of my letters cut out, and I'm actually just going to take a piece of white cardstock and I'm just going to use it as backing, and that way I'll have a solid back on the other side. I don't know what I'll do with the other side. Maybe I'll print like a big photo in this shape. Not sure yet. You know how I hate the back side of things, but first we're going to put all of these in their place where they go. So maybe I should cut out just the outline. That way I don't have to trim it. I think I'm gonna do that before I start adhering, and then I could just stick all of these in here. So let's do that first, and then I'm gonna start doing that.
This looks a little bit wonky because Silhouette does that sometimes, but I just released the Compound Path and selected the outside edge and cut it so that it wasn't on the screen, and then reselected everything that was on the inside and deleted it. And so now I have just the outside edge, and this will cut a solid piece that will be exactly the same size as the actual cut file. and I can just send it through there, and then I can use it as my backing and everything will be perfect. So I've got all that done, and now I can just start using, I'm going to use liquid glue through this whole thing because it's so skinny. And I'm just going to align the 2 cuts that I made, and then all of the little pieces are going to go in all of the little places that they go, just methodically working my way around. It's really not, I can't mess this up. I mean, there's really nowhere to put the wrong letters or whatever, so we're good. We're just going to go ahead and pull all these in and make sure that they're nice and stuck. And then I'm going to decide that I want to actually add journaling to the other side. So I'm going to go back to Silhouette real quick, and I'm going to show you how I took this paper and added it to the back for a journaling spot. So we're going to flip over to Silhouette, and I'm going to flip this horizontally so that I'm working with the back side of the cut file. Then I'm just going to drag and drop this in again, and you can see it's also flipped horizontally because the whole thing is flipped horizontally. I don't think that Silhouette program is very intuitive. So I'm going to mirror the pattern horizontally so it goes back to where it goes, but you can see that all of these words are kind of not working very well with this cut file specifically. So what I'm going to do to mitigate it, I move it around a bit and see maybe if I want it somewhere else instead, but I'm going to decide to just omit those words instead. And so I made everything a little bit bigger so that the lines are a little bit spaced out. And I'm actually going to, I don't like the text function in Silhouette, so I'm actually going to export this as a PDF file and save it. So you go to the print dialog and then hit PDF after you've added your registration marks, and it will save it as a PDF on your desktop. And then I'm going to take that PDF file and I'm actually going to open it up in Photoshop because it will be so much easier for me to add my journaling in Photoshop. The one thing that I do have to keep in mind though is all of those line breaks are actually cuts in the file. So I need to make sure that I am not putting words anywhere that are going to get cut off. And I think I do a pretty good job. I only have one little mess up down there towards the bottom, and the date at the top is a little bit messed up, but you can still read it. Everything came out pretty good. So once I print and cut that, I then I'm now going to adhere it to the back. Silhouette can be a little bit tricky to learn, and I realize that, and I've actually shown how to do this in multiple videos before that I have a blog post that I will link in the description box below that has a little bit slower and better of a tutorial if that's something that you want to learn. But once you figure out your programs, though, it's life-changing, you guys. It just is so awesome to be able to use technology to your advantage, which is, of course, my whole platform. Let me know in the comments if that is something that you want to learn more about. It's what I'm always talking about, but sometimes I feel like I might be talking into the void. So let's finish this page in a more traditional style. So I just have this one 6x8 page that I'm going to finish off now. I'm actually using the Travelogue 2023 collection for this side, and I'm going to pull out all of these die cuts, and I'm just going to make a real simple page. So the point of this layout is, the reason that we went on vacation is we were surprising my dad for his birthday. My sister lives in California, I live in Tennessee, so she took a plane, I took a car, and we both ended up in Louisiana from opposite coasts. So I kind of like this diagonal composition to reflect that we were sort of meeting in the middle. And also it works really well for this one singular page. So I have all of these fun die cuts. I'm going to use a scooter for me, even though I did not ride a scooter across the country, and of course a plane for her. And then I'm going to pull in some stash as well because I didn't have enough puffy stickers or enough things going on with just these die cuts. So I'm going to start adhering everything down. And I just really want a nice little collage effect more than anything else, sort of a good backing for that cut file, because the cut file is of course going to be the star of the show, and I don't need any place for journaling on this page because I obviously added it to the back of the cut file. So this is just going to be a fun little, almost like a mood board, dream board sort of vibe on this page. I'm tucking me behind that photo, but I'm going to put her on top of it, mostly just because I didn't want to cover up her head in the main photo, and we can cover up my boobs in the middle photo. with that airplane. I didn't want to cover up the airplane. So I'm just going to start putting everything down, and we're going to move a little bit faster through this because you just saw me put it down. We are not reinventing the wheel. We are just adhering the wheel that we already invented down. So I'm just tucking this under. I like the way that the wing came out in between the words. And then I felt like I needed some non-travel embellishments. That's why I pulled out those hearts. We're gonna stick one here. I thought I liked the wood grain, but I decided to go for some color instead. And these arrows that I pull out nearly every Citrus Twist layout, I will eventually use them all. But look, I got 2 on this page. I'm very impressed with myself. Another heart, just to pull in some of that blue. Are we there yet? Seem to finish it off perfectly. And I'm gonna stick it in the pocket, and I don't think I add anything else to it. Oh yes, the front of this. So I decided to add where we were going on the front of the cut file with some foam. My favorite foam letter stickers from Citrus Twist. So I'm gonna add Louisiana to the bottom with some stars. It says destination on that chipboard, and we're gonna call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link to the blog post with a tutorial on how to fill your cut files with digital papers in the description box below, as well as a link to Citrus Twist kits if you are interested in checking out some of their product. So I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.